Google Maps has historical street view imagery. If you see a clock icon in the upper left-hand portion of a street view image, click on it and move the slider through time and select a thumbnail to see that same place in previous years or seasons. Now with Street View, you can see a landmark's growth. This feature can also serve as a digital timeline of recent history. You can even experience different seasons. You can see the various occupants of storefronts. Let's take a look. This is Google Maps Street View Timeline. I'm Hewie Poplock. I want to show you a few things about Google Maps that you may not be aware of, and something that I use a lot. Let's put an address in our search bar. When I click enter, it gives me some information about that address, but let's go ahead and look at maps. There are a few things I want to show you here that you may not be aware of. One, they show you a picture of the address and maybe some photos of it, a little bit of information. You can click on directions and get directions. You can save this. You can look at nearby items. You can send this to your phone and you can share it. I'm not going to go through those items right now. What I do want to show you is you have the street map here. If you hold it over the red dot, you'll notice over here you can zoom in, you can zoom out. What I want to show you though is this little item down here. And let's go ahead and drag that up to the address. Now as I'm dragging it, you'll see there are some dark blue lines now on several streets. Those are streets that the Google truck or van or whatever the vehicle was going through and taking pictures of. So what we're going to do is look at the pictures that were taken at this address. Here is the address that we want to be at. It's a Peruvian restaurant. Now, there's several things we can do here. One is we have down here the streets, and this is the street view. So if we want to see a larger version of this, we can expand this. And we can see the streets and where we're at. So we can move around to a different location if we want. And we can minimize that. Now, if you'll look up here on the top left, you'll see it shows the address. And it shows something called Street View, and it says March 2021. That's when this picture was taken by the vehicle that Google sends around. If you see here, there's a little clock to the left of that and a down arrow. When you click that, it gives you a whole bunch of previous times. This is what it looked like in 2007. It was a Pizza Hut. And we can move along this timeline. In April of 2011, it had changed and it was a thrift store. And as we move up, we'll just take another one here. July of 2015, it was Leanne's Vietnamese restaurant. And I used to go there when it was a Vietnamese restaurant. And it stayed that for several years. But then in 2019, it changed to the Peruvian restaurant. Now, the other thing that you can do with this, and let's just drive down the street. And you might recognize this as one of the items we're talking about today, which was right down the street from it. But you can just drive and follow the route as it moves. And again, you can look around and you can then go back as well to the different dates. So those are some things that you can do with Google Maps that I really enjoy and I use a lot. Here is a quick explanation of a few things that I'm showing you. In the lower left, you can see the map, and if you hover over it, you can see the lines that show where the Google vehicles took pictures. If you hold your mouse on the little spot in the middle on the line, you can expand or contract the size of the map. If you look in the upper left-hand corner, you will see an insert that has the address, and then you'll see it in the lower part of it. It'll say Street View, and there'll be a little clock there. Next to that clock is a down arrow. When you click it, you will open up what is the timeline. You can move along the timeline to see various times that Google snapped pictures. In the lower right, you'll see where you can zoom in and zoom out, but you can also click the little icon and drag it to the map to go to Street View of that location. In this scenario, we're not at a particular building or a particular address. We're just on a street. What I'd like to do is kind of show you what it looks like. Although it says January 2020, it's pretty much the same now. But we're just looking around 360 degrees. All right, and look at the clock with the street view, and we're going to click on the clock. We're going to see if we can go back to 2007. Let's go back to 2007 right from the beginning. Let's come all the way here. We click on here, and we can see that this, we can't see the name of that bank. It looks like they're changing the sign right there as we're looking at it. Next door is a Hess station. As we look across the street, there is a Sweet Bay grocery store, and the Burger King is there, which is now, by the way, now closed. Looking at it today, that's Ameris Bank. There's a Waffle House there. There's a Wawa here. Let's go to 2019, February 2019. And Ameris Bank is Fidelity Bank. And there's the Waffle House. As we look across the street, yeah, there's the Wawa. June of 2018. And it was Fidelity Bank. And the Waffle House. And there is a boarded up grocery store. They'd put the fence around, but they hadn't started it yet. Okay. Let's move back. April 2015. It's First Bank. There's no Waffle House. And there's the grocery store. It was changing from a Sweet Bay to a Winn-Dixie. Okay, we're going to come back now to 2011. It's still First Bank. There's a gas station where the Waffle House is. And there's the grocery store in the background. It looks like that was a Sweet Bay. And if we go back to 2008, looks like it's still First Bank, still the gas station, and that's a Sweet Bay, and looks like they had a few cars in front of it. And 2007, that was First Bank as well. There's the gas station was open at that time. There's Sweet Bays. And again, coming back to 2020, which is today, we have a bank, we have a Waffle House, and we have a Wawa. So that area of Cortez Road in Bradenton changed considerably over the past 13 years. Let's take a look at an address that I saw in a news article about a new restaurant opening. When we go to that address and we then go to maps, let's go to the street view. By going to the street view, we come down here and we're going to come right up to this area. This is the building that we're looking at. This was in March of 2021. There's going to be a new restaurant in this storefront. But let's take a look at this property and see what else has been here. By doing that, we come up to this window and click on the clock. And you'll see that it has different views. So right now we're in March of 2021. And let's go back to July of 2019. And it was Leaf and Lentil. It was the same restaurant that just recently closed. Let's go back to 2018. It was something else. We zoom in. It was Porky's Fusion Barbecue. And then before that, it was Planter's Palette. You can see it in the title here. And if we come around the corner a little bit and look at it from a different view, we could see the entrance. And let's go back to 2014. It was Bellinona's Bistro. And let's go back to 2011. It was Chips Fresh Mix. And 2011, it was still Chips. And then going back all the way to 2007, it was a Domino's. So it changed hands many times, and it's changing hands again. And we'll come over here and look at it. So it's fun going back and looking to see what was in that same location over the years since 2007. This is the Westin Hotel in downtown Sarasota. Most recently, they're working on the road and building a roundabout right at that intersection. That's why there's construction there. Let's take a look at the clock. And now we can see that this picture was taken in 2021. Let's go back to 2019. You can see the construction wasn't there. There's not much difference in the location. We'll go back to November of 2018. It also looks very similar. June of 2018, they were still working on the outside of the building. Let's go to 2016. The building was under construction. It was a building, it just wasn't completed. As we go back a little bit further, let's go to 2015. Well, they were building the building, but they were only a couple of stories high. That was July of 2015. Let's go to April of 2015. It was only 1 story high. Lots of cranes. Let's go to 2014. And it was a field. It didn't change much from 2007. Let's take a look at that. Again, it was a field. And today. Wait, there's just a little bit more I want to show you. Let's take a look at Lecom Park in downtown Bradenton, Florida. It is a home of the Pittsburgh Pirates spring training and the Bradenton Marauders minor league baseball team. You can move around and do a 360-degree look at all around the area, and you can also zoom in on whatever you're looking at as well. Notice there's a little icon here which tells you what the item is. If we click on that, it opens some information on the left panel, which I showed you briefly at one of the other areas. But you'll notice that it does give you the address, it gives you a website, a phone number, maybe some other information about it. But if you move up here, you'll see there's a photograph. And if you put your mouse over it, it'll show you that how many photos there are. And if you click on it, it will show you photos of the particular location that you're looking at, if there are some available. That's it for Google Maps. I'm Hewie Poplock.